Welcome back, everyone. Your loyal Captain Given 100 has returned yet again for another video for you guys today. And today we will be continuing the Dragon Ball Prime version 2, part 2. Last time, we just gotten through, well, the beginning, the early saga and the introduction. Now we're going to get through the early Dragon Ball saga. We're going to do the sagas one by one. But don't you guys worry because, well, even though it's early Dragon Ball, we're going to do a lot, and I mean a lot, of redirecting with the stories. Because, well, now I need to add more arcs into this. Because of the things that are going to actually have to happen. Because of said, well, characters that are now included in the story. And keep in mind, there's a lot of included characters. So because of this, what are we waiting for? Let's get straight into the video. So let's go. So last time we had left, it was with our hero Bardock, who was chasing after his family to go to planet Earth, after he pretty much told them to leave earlier. And, well, since they all left, Gine, Fasha, Moisley, and all of his kids. So it's a lot to think on. But still, we're not here for that. Well, actually, yes, we are. But in case you guys don't remember, Bardock has 3 women. Yes, 3 women. He has Gine, his actual canon wife, Fasha, in like the Dragon Ball Z Bardock special, if you saw Bardock's squad, and Moisley, which is Granola's mother. So, oh my gosh! In case you guys don't remember, Bardock actually has 6 kids, 2 from each of the 3 women that he has, 2 from Gine, 2 from Fasha, and 2 from, well, technically 1 from Moisley, but since Granola's with them, it's still 2. Now, the thing might be questioning what happened. So, Gine has 2 kids like normal. She has Raditz, but I'm changing it up a little bit. And in case you guys see, hold up. 1 second. I gotta change the picture real quick. Alright, guys. Sorry, just had to show you real quick. So, Gine has Raditz, but her second son isn't exactly Kakarot. No, it's a different character. One character that is famously known for being, well, that has a lot of what-ifs going on about him, but since he's another low-class warrior, he supposedly looks like Goku and Bardock. So, you know what? I decided to say screw it and say why not. Gine has Raditz, but she also has Turles. Yes, and in case you don't think that's Turles, there you guys go. And there you go, I had to put that into the story. I actually like Turles as a character as a whole, because I really view Turles as just one of those cool characters that should have been explained more. But since we never got anything on the lines of that, I was very pissed off. So I'm like, you know what? I'm including Turles in this one. Hold on. There we go. I'm always getting distracted by whatever the heck is popping up. Okay, anyway. So Gine has 2 boys that are actually around this, that are actually twins. Raditz and Turles in this one are twins, but that doesn't include Fasha. And in case you guys don't know who Fasha is, I'm still gonna show you. All right, here you go. We got Gine and we got Fasha. I mean, it's pretty obvious who Gine is. She's been showcased as Goku's mother before, but the woman beside her is Fasha. She was also on Bardock's squad. So Bardock having 2 women from his squad and another woman from his from a race he had to pretty much exterminate. So Fasha ended up having 2 kids as well, and they were actually not the same age. They were about 1 year apart. So with that being said, Fasha ended up having 2 girls, and let me show you those girls right now. And okay, as you guys can see, one of the girls, well, it's literally right beside, you know, a kid Goku or Kakarot, because his name's gonna stay the same in this one, because I don't really feel a need to change it. The girl's name on the side of Goku is Ruta. And here's the second girl, who is actually the older one. And here we have the second girl, who is the eldest of the 2. Her name is Joka. Oh yeah, just to be on the safer side, once again, Ruta, the girl I showed you before, is from Salad Saiyan, his channel. Go subscribe to him. All credits to him. And the girl that I'm showing you right now, Joka, is from Masako X. So there you guys go. Like I said, including like OCs, fan-made OCs. These are not mine. Also, I'm going to be inputting a lot of other characters in here, but that's for Dragon Ball Z and Z Kai. Because right now we're only into the early Dragon Ball saga. Because I know you guys definitely would want want to get into the next part as soon as possible. But yes, and as for the last woman that Bardock has, yeah, Moisley. And who is Moisley? And Moisley is Granola's mother. Now, okay. Oh boy, this is quite crazy here. So you guys might be wondering, wait, doesn't Granola have a dad in this one? Yes, he does. And the thing is, yes, he does, but he's pretty much a scumbag. Just for the sake of the plot, okay, just to not make it any more tragic, he pretty much left Granola and Moisley, like, before Granola was even born. So, Moisley never really cared about Granola's dad anyway, because he had already left. But since the Saiyans were sent to exterminate the Cerealians, it was kind of gone about in a bad way. And since Moisley, like, Bardock spared Moisley and Granola, Bardock had actually brought back Moisley as, well, okay, I know it's bad in an Omni-Man situation, but the other Saiyans see Moisley as a pet, quote-unquote, a pet for Bardock. So Bardock technically has 3 women. And with Granola pretty much being the age of Raditz and Turles, Bardock ended up having another kid to, Bardock ended up having another kid to, with Moisley, and this kid was finally known as our Kakarot in this situation. Our Goku, yes, is half Saiyan, half Cerealian. Nice. Oh man. So with all this being said, that's exactly how it went. So Bardock ended up having 6 dang children. Because, you know, well, you could say 5, but I count Granola, so 6. And in case you didn't watch part 1, I suggest you go watch that right now, because I don't feel like recapping the whole story. I'm just giving you bits and pieces of the information. Okay, until finally, you know, Planet Vegeta was being attacked by Frieza. Bardock was trying to fight it off. Frieza went to his final form and launched a giant death ball at Planet Vegeta, which Bardock had actually blew up, which the explosion actually sent him flying back to Planet Vegeta, like in a crater. And since Bardock and his family lineage is the legendary Super Saiyan in this What If, Bardock had went Super Saiyan God, blowing up Frieza's death ball. And since he was trying to combine legendary Super Saiyan with Super Saiyan God, it didn't work. Because the calming purity of Super Saiyan God, which mixed with the wrathful rage of legendary Super Saiyan, it can't mix. So it actually canceled each other out, leaving Bardock to go back to his base form and dropping his power all the way back down to basically 3 million. So sadly, Bardock and Frieza's, 100% full power, 120 million, it was not enough for Bardock to actually get the victory. So while the Saiyans in their Great Ape forms, the other Saiyans in their Great Ape forms fighting Frieza, Bardock got in a space pod and pretty much jetted off to planet Earth. And even though he was injured, this would actually give him a small Zenkai once he gotten back. So basically, there you guys go. You had gotten your recap. So let's continue on to the early Dragon Ball story. Let's do this. All right. Now we start off in early Dragon Ball. So how does this go? Well, pretty simple. The Frieza ship that Bardock's family took had finally landed within Earth's atmosphere. And obviously, for the sake of the plot, just because it's on autopilot, they land in a secure place away from the populace, which is far away out into the countryside of the forest. And finally, once the ship had signaled that they had landed, they actually get off the ship and they look around. Okay, hold on. I'm gonna say, who would be the strongest one? I'm gonna have to give it to Fasha. Well, I mean, okay, obviously Bardock's kids are the stronger ones out of the other adults, but since she's the actual adult here and the kids are, like, told to stay back because they don't know, I'm going to say Fasha is the one who takes control here, since she's the most experienced upon Bardock's squad. Even though some of the kids went on missions, they didn't go on nothing too severe or too dangerous. You know what? Nah, what the hell am I saying? They're Saiyans. At this point, it doesn't freaking matter. They don't care. The kids have pretty much went on missions of their own, sustaining, like, injuries and everything. So, at this point, they're confident. And since the average power level of a human is, like, 1. Maybe there are a few in the slight hundreds. But with, the Saiyans here being in the thousands, it's really no contest as to what the heck is going to happen. Like, Raditz in the original Dragon Ball was the weakest of a power level with 1,500. Now he's in, like, the hundreds of the hundreds of thousands. With Goku actually being the high, with Kakarot being the highest, because Bardock had a Kakarot around when he had a power level of like within the millions, like with actually 1.5 million. So Kakarot actually has the biggest potential here, but he is still a baby because he's in Moisley's arms and Granola's just standing by their side right now. So yeah, Goku's half Cerulean. Anyway, moving on. So Fasha here takes up the initiative as to wondering what the heck is going on, like where are they? And so the Frieza ship pretty much scans the planet, as there's really no one on this planet that can actually threaten them. And so, okay, the kids off rip are ready to do some like, takeover and shit like that, because that's normally what Saiyans do. But with Gine and Moisley's influence, they pretty much say no, they don't want to draw attention to themselves, especially if Bardock is like not here. So while they're just Fasha on the other hand agrees that they should take over the planet to make sure no one opposes them. While everyone is having an argument, an old man actually wanders by, wondering what's all the commotion about. As from his point of view, he sees three females, one with green hair. Well, that's not really weird. One with green hair and two with tails, surrounded by 6 children that also have tails, and another one with green hair, and a baby. Well, five children, one of them with green hair, 4 of them with tails, like the other 2 females, and one baby. Now, just what the heck is going on here? As we know this old man to be Grandpa Gohan, as he approaches, as he tries to make polite of the situation. Excuse me, ladies. As immediately everyone gets on guard, ready for a fight. Moisley has her finger out ready to snipe him, while Fasha, Gine, and the other Saiyans are ready to shoot their blasts at him, because they are actually relatively strong. I'm gonna be nice to Gine and give her a nice power level of, because she has to train her every now and then. Their kids actually do train with her. I'm gonna give Gine a good power level of, let's say, I'm gonna give her 24. I'm gonna give her 30,000. Why the heck not 30,000? While Fasha being on Bardock's squad for longer and being trained but with and by Bardock most of the time, I'm gonna say she has a power level of around 50,000. So she could beat Zarbon and Dodoria, but if they gang up on her, it would be a very crazy challenge. Especially if Zarbon goes into his monster form, then his power jumps up to I think 30,000. Or 35,000. I don't know. It's pretty rough how that goes. But Grandpa Gohan assures them that he means no harm by saying, "Please, I mean you no harm. I'm not threatening you," as he raises his hands to signify his surrender. And Fasha steps forward, demanding to know what he wants, as she presses a button on her scouter, scanning Grandpa Gohan, whose power level is actually 110, because Master Roshi is 134, I think. So yes, why the heck not? So with that being said, Fasha would concede that he has a somewhat decent power level. Would have a somewhat decent power level for a creature of his status on a weak planet, but it's still nothing compared to the rest of them. Even Gine, the weakest, could actually beat them, because Moisley's done some training with Fasha, and her power level's gone up a little bit as well. So and I'm gonna say Moisley is right behind Fasha with the power level of 45,000. So yeah, Fasha 50,000, Moisley 45,000, Gine 30,000, and the rest of the kids are in the high 100,000s. And Goku's literally in the millions right now, being a baby. So this is crazy. But anyway, Grandpa Gohan assures them that he means no harm, and just says invites them if they need shelter. Invites them over to his place for food and water. Now Fasha isn't very trusting of this, but she says there's no need, because she points to the ship behind them, that they already have pretty much shelter and everything from the elements. As Grandpa Gohan pretty much nods and says, well, it's not safe out here, so could they at least somewhat come closer? And Fasha decides to go with her, and she brings a few of the children with her, the stronger ones, being Raditz and Turles, while the others stay behind. And Fasha just says, just give her a reason, letting Grandpa Gohan know, don't try anything funny. But Grandpa Gohan shows her like his place, which isn't that far of a walk, and he shows that he lives on Mount Paozu, which is pretty much a big mountain. So instead she nods, and she pretty much calls everyone else on their scouters, and pretty much gets them to pretty much bring and land the ships near Grandpa Gohan's place, which is actually on Mount Paozu, so it's not that bad. Like, fine. So, finally they all go to Grandpa Gohan's house to prepare for like a home-cooked meal. And finally Grandpa Gohan asks about them, like who they are and what are they doing here, because he can tell from the giant alien spaceship that they're not human. And Fasha would be the one to explain their situation and circumstance. And Grandpa Gohan would just go on to say, I see. Well, situations like, well, within the situation itself, Grandpa Gohan doesn't see a reason why they can't just stay on this planet. And Fasha is just saying, well, that they're just waiting for their husband and the kid's father, Bardock, to show up. Like, wait, husband? All three of you? Yes, and they just nod their heads yes, and all 6 children. Yep, as they pretty much just nod. Holy crap. Okay, but it's gonna take Bardock like 1 extra day to get there. Because, remember, he got there, like, you know what, nah, he was only like an hour behind, so it would take him a few more hours for him to show up. So Grandpa Gohan would introduce them to Earth and pretty much fill them in on the philosophy and on all the planets and whatnot, because it would still take some time. And while they are starting to understand the history of Earth and whatnot, giving them a good philosophy lesson, finally they hear a sonic boom within the Earth's atmosphere. And that can only mean one thing. As they finally go outside and they see it's a Saiyan space pod. And Bardock pretty much set their coordinates for the Frieza spaceship that they were already on. So Bardock pretty much lands in the same spot that Goku would land in the original story. So finally, they know that space pod there, and they use their scouters to scan the space pod. And they see that it is Bardock's power level, because no Saiyan has that high of a power level. You know what, now they can't see from there, screw that. They go to the Saiyan space pod and they hope it's Bardock. And thankfully to their eyes, it is Bardock. Albeit injured and bloody, it's still Bardock. As they pull him out of the space pod and they ask him what happened, and Bardock pretty much confirms their worst nightmare. Frieza destroyed planet Vegeta, the home of the Saiyans. Crud, so he was right the whole time, and Bardock saw it. Thankfully, his scouter had recorded the entire incident, so they could even see that he wasn't lying. Their home planet, their Saiyan brethren, it's all gone. Like, damn, what are they gonna do now? Well, Grandpa Gohan just suggests that they should live on Earth. Earth, like they said, is relatively a somewhat peaceful planet. As you know, he continues educating them on about the planet, about their wars and whatnot. It's still pretty. It's kind of a shitty world. That he says it's kind of a shitty world, but hey, it's better than any ones that they could go out there to find. And Bardock, like, what's the word? Bardock says, I guess that we got nothing better to do. So Bardock decides that they're just gonna live on the spaceship that they have brought with them. Thankfully, it's stocked to the brim with food. But thanks to Grandpa Gohan, they also have like fresh food as well. But since Grandpa Gohan is not a farmer, they're gonna go through a lot more food than usual. But thankfully, Bardock stocked up the food with months in case the travel was too long or the spaceship would get damaged. And we already know how Saiyans eat. So, shit would only get worse and worse. Okay, hold on. I got an idea. Give me 1 sec, guys. Okay, so this is how it goes. Pretty much they all get acclimated to Earth pretty well, and the children continue pretty much just training, with Bardock actively training them. And Grandpa Gohan can see that these guys are, like the real deal. And they continue to explain to Grandpa Gohan, like, the history of the Saiyans, that they actually are really strong individuals with really strong people. And this will go on for a few years, actually. Until, okay, we have Kakarot, who's actually, you know, finally of kid age. While the rest of the Saiyan children are, like, a little bit older, but not that much. Because I'm gonna say, like, Raditz was already like, what, 6 or something when Goku was born? So Goku's like 5 at this point. 11. So like their other Saiyan children are like older than 10 years old, with maybe I'm gonna say Ruta being like around 10 or but about to be 11, while Goku's like 5 at this rate. But keep in mind, since they have Frieza's potential mixed with like rapid growth, and in case you guys don't know what growth I'm talking about, they have, okay, let me explain to you every benefit they have. So Bardock being the descendant of the Super Saiyan, the first Super Saiyan god Yamoshi, while also being the legendary Super Saiyan. If you don't know how that works, I've already explained it in part 1, so I don't feel like explaining it anymore. You know what? Fine, I'll explain it this one last time. Yamoshi, five pure-hearted Saiyans, doing the Super Saiyan God ritual, turned Yamoshi into the first Super Saiyan God, obviously. But after the Super Saiyan God power had run out, it turns out Yamoshi wasn't a regular Super Saiyan. He was the legendary Super Saiyan. Dragon Ball Z Broly, the Dragon Ball Z movie Broly, not Super Broly, not the one we have canon, the non-canon Dragon Ball Z Broly, the one with light lime green hair, not the dark green that we have for current Broly. I mean, you could also argue that Super Broly is also light green hair, but I think Z Broly has the lighter one, like lightning green, while Super Broly has lime green. Okay, so Yamoshi was the actual, Z Broly legendary Super Saiyan, but his power had actually run out, causing him to overload and basically to spend all of his energy at once, and he exhausted himself, allowing the Saiyans the evil Saiyans to kill him. Yamoshi and his 5 pure-hearted Saiyans were good. So that led to the Universe 7 Saiyans. But Yamoshi already had fathered a kid, and pretty much that descendant had... Okay, Yamoshi had fathered a kid anyway, so all of that led down to his lineage, aka with it being Bardock, who became a Super Saiyan God in the final moments of trying to defeat Frieza, while also awakening his legendary Super Saiyan power. But since those two contradict one another, it canceled each other out, so Bardock couldn't effectively use one or the other. So that led him to escape planet Vegeta. But that also meant that Bardock was really special and had a lot of potential. But still, time for you guys to see the benefits. So all of Bardock's children, excluding Granola, because he's not Bardock's biological kid. So you guys already know the 5 kids that Bardock has: Raditz, Turles, Ruta, Joka, and Kakarot. All 5 of them. They all have God. They all have God Ki within them. They're born with God Ki because it can be passed down, because Bardock is a Super Saiyan God, and he awakened that power. The Z Broly's legendary Super Saiyan, meaning he has that mutant genetic gene. So he's so even as they fight, they're going to learn as they get strong. They're going to learn as they fight and only get stronger. They have Frieza's potential, meaning they can train very little, and to be honest with you, their power would go up dramatically. And finally, Bardock wished for pretty much infinite growth potential, like extremely fast or infinite growth potential. So their max potential is pretty much like Saitama here. They're pretty much born with no limit to how fast they can grow. Just infinite growth potential, and they can continuously grow faster and faster and faster to overcome an enemy. That's how much benefits that these kids have. And with Goku being getting of age, he quickly surpassed a lot of the children. Because remember, these children were born in the low 100,000s, while Goku was born in the millions. But hey, that doesn't mean these kids won't grow fast either. But immediately though, Bardock had gotten them to understand that they had to gain control over their forms. Number one, first things first, gain control over the Uzaru form. That's one thing that Bardock had immensely focused on when they were kids. So definite 100%, all the kids definitely know how to control their Uzaru forms. They know how to control their their giant ape forms. So thankfully we got that down, so Grandpa Gohan won't be crushed by a giant ape. Yay. Second thing, over the years that have gone by, Bardock has actually made some crazy developments in his power. Now, what do I mean by that? Simple. Bardock was the actual first one to discover the Ikari form. Yes, I'm introducing a lot of stuff early because remember their potential, their growth potential, and what their lineage. It's extremely fast and pretty crazy how it gets done. Huh, it's windy outside. Anyway, with how fast that they develop, the story's gonna pretty much go by in a wash. But since we've got years before Bulma shows up, like Goku's like what, around 10 maybe? Oh, before Bulma shows up? I think? I'm not sure. But Goku's like 5 around this time, maybe 7 or 8, or I think he's 10 when Bulma shows up. So it's gonna be like a few more years before anything crazy does happen. But we'll get it sooner or later. So yes, Bardock is the first one to discover the Ikari form, and then he teaches it to, and then the rest of the kids follow suit, because their potential is so high they pretty much copied it the first time they saw it. And Bardock just pretty much explained it's using the power of a great ape without transforming. So they get to understand this relatively quickly. But since they have such high S cells, and since Bardock was pretty much trying to understand what it was that he felt against Frieza, I'm going to say this: Bardock is one day training on the mountain with the rest of his kids and the rest of his wives watching, and so one day Bardock tries to recreate that moment that he felt against Frieza, and he's trying to wonder about what it is that made it so crazy, because okay, the Super Saiyan God form, he needs to try to recreate that moment, but he doesn't know how he felt. But he knows that other intense feeling he felt. It was pure rage and an unfiltered hatred. And Bardock went deep into his mind, pretty much trying to recreate that moment there. The feeling of being inadequate, being weak, unable to protect his planet, unable to save everybody. Finally watching the rest of his comrades die. Even though he was here with his family, he still failed to protect his planet, to save his brethren. And his family could have died there if they stayed on that planet. It drove Bardock over the edge as he finally thought about Frieza laughing and transforming into his final form. And feeling inadequate about it, Bardock had exploded. The aura that came off of him was immensely insane. He didn't know how he felt at this moment, but he knew that this was it. Bardock had become the first Super Saiyan. This is a normal Super Saiyan, by the way. What the heck is this? And Gine, Fasha, and even Moisley and the rest of his kids run up to him asking, what is this? They don't know, but Bardock feels like he remembers. And then, wait, no, Fasha would actually say, this has got to be the Super Saiyan. This has to be it. The Super Saiyan? The legendary Super Saiyan? Bardock would say, no, this doesn't... no, this can't be the legendary Super Saiyan. They said the legendary Super Saiyan was a fierce warrior, like hellbent on bloodshed. But wait, Bardock can feel something deeper within this. This isn't his peak yet. As he tells everyone to stand back. And pretty much the transformation goes pretty much how Z Broly's went. Bardock roars to the sky. And he needs to completely snap. Okay, Bardock transformed into a Super Saiyan because of the S cells. It was able to get him to transform easily like the Universe 6 Saiyans. But he didn't exactly snap in that moment. But here is where Bardock does. Every bit of bad moment about Frieza, King Cold, being enslaved, all of that finally rushes into his brain. And finally, right in the midst of it, Bardock's body seems to crack all over. And just seems to almost explode. And then finally, a huge explosion happens, blowing everyone back away from Bardock. And finally, once it's all said and done, when they see Bardock again, this is what they see. Bardock had done it. He had become the legendary Super Saiyan. And finally, when Bardock opens his eyes again, they're green. Whoa, he can't believe it. And yes, Bardock actually does have control over himself. Because we see that Broly actually had control of himself. He was just hell-bent on using the bloodshed, and not Super Broly, who just went straight up berserk. So Bardock actually does have control over this form. And Fasha now sees that this is the legendary Super Saiyan. Then Bardock was questioning what was that before. I don't know. They don't even know. But then the kids wonder, do they have this power? They probably do. But still, this is something that definitely needs to be developed on. Bardock didn't know that this power is insane. It's overwhelming. It's pretty much overflowing at this point. So the rest of the kids feel like they could do it as well. Until pretty much the rest of them pretty much burst into Super Saiyan as well. Not legendary, but regular Super Saiyan. They don't really have the Cataclysm to turn into legendary Super Saiyan, as Bardock did. They don't really have a reason to snap or anything otherwise to drive them to that point. But they can all go regular Super Saiyan though, but they just can't go legendary, which they don't know why. They don't know that feeling of it yet. But Bardock's power is like rising. It's overflowing. He's getting stronger as he's in the form, and Bardock can feel it. He feels like he could destroy the planet just by literally punching the surface of the planet. That's pretty much Z Broly anyway. But Bardock realizes he needs to control this power. If he can't contain it, then it could spell doom for everyone. Dang, I'm already at the 30-minute mark, and I've only just started. Anyway, we're gonna do a time skip now. So, time skip. Bardock actually has been training with legendary Super Saiyan for years now, and finally, most of his kids are actually grown up at this point. They've hit their growth spurt, because it's been like what, Goku's 10 at this point, and since they're older, wait, no, they're like what, 16, 17 at this point. Wait, no, Saiyans don't grow yet until they hit like a late growth spurt, like 19 or 20, because we saw a 15-year-old Goku and he was still small fighting King Piccolo. So they've almost hit their growth spurt. So you know what? When they reach the age of 18, that's when their growth spurt happens all at once. That's when they all grow. But Bardock wasn't the only thing. Legendary Super Saiyan wasn't the only thing he was focused on. You see, Bardock had actually focused on the other aspect about himself. And what do I mean by that? Well, that's simple. Super Saiyan God. It's been years, so it's no doubt that Bardock would have actually found out about Super Saiyan God, because he felt the power and he saw the red aura. And finally, when his kids saw that, they went on to become gods as well, because all they had to do was just flood their body with God Ki. And since they were born with it, I mean, it would be no doubt that they figured out how to do it after a while, because they could sense godly presence within Bardock. So it was there. They just had to feel what it was like, and eventually they could just become Super Saiyan gods. While it's bad because Granola is pretty much left in the dust, but that doesn't mean he didn't train either. He trained like really, really hard for his power to like grow. Even though he'll never grow as much as his brothers and sisters, he's still growing relatively quickly, but just not fast enough. But hey, what he likes for in raw power and growth potential, he makes up in technique and his smarts, and also being a Cerulean as well. His sniper abilities are pretty much impeccable. So it's pretty scary what he can do. I mean, still, Goku has those abilities as well. Kakarot has those abilities as well, so it's not that crazy. But hey, that is until a strange girl shows up. Hold on. Finally, a strange girl shows up at Grandpa Gohan's place. A girl with blue hair, actually, and inside of a car. And they're wondering who this girl is and what she's doing here, as we know that this girl is actually Bulma. What the? And she says she's here looking for the Dragon Balls, and this pretty much shocks Bardock. The and Moisley. The Dragon Balls? Dragon Balls exist on this planet? And Bulma actually says, "Oh, so you know about them too." And the thing is, okay, Grandpa Gohan they never really had a reason to go inside of Grandpa Gohan's house other than the explanation. And we don't know exactly when Grandpa Gohan had found the Dragon Ball either. So it couldn't have been within this whole time. Otherwise, Bulma would have went to Grandpa Gohan and Goku at that point. So with that being said, I'm gonna say he found it some time ago. And even though some of the Saiyans went inside of his home, I'm just going to say they never really paid attention to the aesthetic look because they slept in the spaceship. So it doesn't really matter. They never really noticed the Dragon Ball. So Bardock was surprised to know that the Dragon Balls did exist on this planet. And Grandpa Gohan was about to hand it over until Bardock had actually told him to wait and said, what does she want to use the Dragon Balls for? And at that point, Bulma just says that she wants to wish for a boyfriend. What? But the thing here is that Bardock actually wants to partake on this journey, because if he can, then that. But then he has to ask the question: can the Dragon Balls revive people? And immediately Bulma would say yes, the Dragon Balls can revive people. And immediately Bardock would be happy. But then she says, hold on, that the Eternal Dragon can only grant one wish. Damn, only one? Shit, that is going to be terrible. So even though things is going to be weird as of right now, Bardock still wants to go on this journey, just to see if Bulma only heard it in rumors that the dragon can only grant one wish, but Bardock already met a dragon that can grant 3 wishes that hopes that it can grant 3 wishes. So instead, he chooses to go on this journey with Bulma. And you know what? Bardock's kids choose to go as well, and so do but the women choose to stay back for this one, because honestly they don't feel. You know what? Screw it. Everybody's going except Grandpa Gohan. Grandpa Gohan is the only one that actually does stay back, because a journey and everything, that's a bit too much for him. So he doesn't really feel like going on one crazy big journey. But he does have one single request for them, that they go meet his teacher, Master Roshi. Master Roshi? Yes, or Master Kame or something like that. I don't know. He tells them about like his island and where he could be found, and Bardock has asked, why did he like not say anything until now? And Gohan honestly just says he was enjoying their company. Crazy old man. But anyway, they partake on this journey with Bulma, and as you can pretty much guess, everything is pretty much a wash for them. Okay, but the thing is, Bardock forbids them from using legendary Super Saiyan or their God forms as of right now, because there's really no need for them to go that far. So, with that being said, they do still meet their Dragon Ball crew. They meet Oolong. They meet a lot of other early Dragon Ball characters like Android 8, Suno. They meet, actually, it's a lot of people that they meet. They meet Yamcha, Puar, and finally they do end up meeting Master Roshi himself upon the island. And and Master Roshi does agree to train these people until Krillin, a monk, actually does show up. Now, oh boy, this is going to be crazy. Master Roshi realizes that these people here aren't, and this family is insanely strong and powerful. Like how? How are they so goddamn powerful? Okay, now this insane potential of these people here are just nothing more. And Master Roshi realizes that there isn't really much that he can do in terms of teaching them. Yes, he teaches them techniques and all of that, and like, hold on, in homage to the Turtle School, but still, that's pretty much it. Not really much can be done in this full-powered state. Until, oh man, being just the prodigies that they are, they see Master Roshi's full-powered form, and they integrate it within themselves. Like, you guys might be wondering, what? How? And my question is, just roll with it. Like, and even Krillin did the same thing. Krillin unlocking his own full-powered form, his buffed up state like Krillin gets a buffed up state like Master Roshi with also increased height, but the Saiyans increase it in their own way. You know how, okay, we as humans can't really use 100% of our strength because it would destroy and kill us, unless we have adrenaline coursing through us. Well, the Saiyans had actually found out a way of using Master Roshi's full power state to get off pretty much the same effects of that. Instead, there are no drawbacks though. So the Saiyans can use 100%, and Cerealians can actually use 100% of their powers, their full-powered states, their full-powered bodies, without any singular drawbacks. With them, sadly, and the craziest thing is they do have the benefit of adrenaline coursing through them, so it's actually not that bad. So wow, everyone is getting so much stronger, and still the tournament does roll around with everyone getting so strong. I'm gonna say Bardock ends up being the winner, because he ends up facing Goku in the final, Kakarot in the final round, but just barely. Now this is scary. Now, obviously, spending all of their money upon things here, Goku still does go to well, Kakarot. They still end up meeting Chi-Chi and the Ox King, putting out the fire. And I'm gonna say, thankfully, their mountain doesn't get destroyed. So, hey, it's saved. Now, finally, the Pilaf gang do catch up with them, but they don't. But crazy enough, and funnily enough, here, the Pilaf gang can't even get close to capturing the Sun family. So there is absolutely no way that they get off with the Dragon Balls here. Instead, the Dragon Balls are taken by the Sun family, and Bulma wants to wish for a boyfriend. But then, among this journey, it's it's Goku who steps up, saying, why not Bulma and Yamcha just date each other? Because essentially they've been on this journey for so long, they've already found everything that they needed. And you know what? Bulma ends up being okay with this, and she lets them have the wish. And so Shenron is summoned forth, and Bardock tries to make the wish to revive the Saiyans, and pretty much like Planet Vegeta. But Shenron says that's far beyond his power, as he can only revive someone that's died within the year. So sadly, not just anybody can be brought back. Okay, so what happens is simple. They've got no way to bring Planet Vegeta back as of right now. Don't worry, guys. That's gonna change in a little bit. I just don't. There's a reason I'm trying not to keep it from that happening now. So instead, Granola takes the wish, and he says he wishes he had the potential like his brothers and sisters, with high potential and fast growth within power. And Shenron ends up granting the wish, bidding them farewell. So there is no underwear wish to be made. So they ask Granola why, and Granola says he's like tired of being left in the dust of the weakest sibling, because he wants to be strong like them. And sadly, he has no transformations or anything to make him strong, or so he thinks. On a side note, if you guys have seen Salad Saiyan on What If Granola Was Sent to Earth with Goku, I'm about to take homage from that. So, only give it some time. It's about to happen. So yes, the wish does happen like normal, and things do go pretty much the same. But there's no point in returning back to Master Roshi's, because, oh yeah, Master Roshi does give them the Nimbus Cloud so they can, but there's no need because they can already fly, so that's already useless. But it's still a pretty good sense of transportation, or so they think. But anyway, what happens then is that there's nothing that they can teach them, so they end up going to Korin's actually very earlier on in this one, because the journey doesn't take as long because there's a lot more people. So they end up going to Korin's tower, and they climb it, and they finally meet Korin, getting the Ultra Divine Water, which is pretty much regular tap water. So on a real note, they end up going to I'm trying to think. Oh, they end up going to get the real Ultra Divine Water, and they still get their power boost like normal. And finally, they figure out that the Senzu beans actually do exist. Korin's actually developed in making them. And Granola, being the smart one, is actually going to make a wish based upon that sooner or later. But oh well, not right now. But still, yet again, the Sun family is so strong that there's not really much they can be taught. So they end up getting sent to Kami's lookout extremely early, before King Piccolo is even able to act. Like, yes, he is still out there. You know what? Hold on. No, King Piccolo isn't even unsealed yet. He's not even unsealed right now. But he's about to be by the Pilaf gang. This is like months ahead of time before the Pilaf gang is about to unseal him. So yes, they meet Kami extremely early on. So as of right now, they go up to Kami's lookout, and they meet the god of Earth, per se. And crazy enough, since they don't know about King Piccolo, it's just a regular interaction with Mr. Popo and Kami. And upon this, Kami says there's not really much that he can teach them in terms of like fighting or skill, except they can only go through more key training and, well, development and spirit control, which they actually end up doing very well. Now this here is, man, kind of hard, because Kami does put them through that same time travel, timey-wimey BS that they go through, and they all end up going back in time to meet like young Roshi, and young like Crane from the Crane School, because at this point they've already met Tien and whatnot. Well, they're about to win the tournament. Just got to give me a second here for this one. Well, they're about to, but not yet. But who cares? But anyway, since they've already gone through it, only thing Kami can recommend them is the Room of Spirit and Time, as he does actually recommend it to them, but Bardock actively says no for his family, because they're already strong enough as of right now, so why would they need it? But the thing is, Bardock doesn't want to waste like a year or two of his life actually going through something like that, to gain strength for no reason. Okay, you know what? No, I'm lying. What am I doing? Saiyans like crave strength, but Bardock still doesn't want to waste 1 or 2 years, like, for something. But he does want to get revenge on Frieza. But having to shave off 1 or 2 years of his lifespan for it, like, it doesn't seem practical as of right now. So Bardock ends up asking, is there any way for them to get actually get stronger? And Kami thinks on it for a moment before actively snapping his fingers and saying yes. And he gets in contact with King Yemma to get them cleared to go to King Kai. So yes, they actually go meet King Kai early, and there's a reason that I'm actually doing this right now. Now, okay, give me a sec to think, you guys. I just need a moment to think. King Kai, okay, agrees to actually train the Sun family. So you know what? There's no reason for them to say no. Oh god, but this is going to be extremely hard. Well, actually not really, because they can get there in like actually a few minutes. So transportation isn't the problem. It's just going to be coming back and forth for food. But King Kai says he has plenty of food for them. For like what? Okay, that's 6 kids. 7, 8, 9, 10. For like 10 people, and they're like 8 of them are Saiyans, but oh well. I mean, if he can feed Goku, I have no doubt he can feed some other Saiyans. And because I'm saying screw it with the timeline, this is the prime timeline, so we can do what they want. So I can do what I want with it. They all end up going to King Kai's place. So King Kai with the 10 times gravity, Bardock actually feels quite normal on King Kai's place, while Goku actually struggles a little bit. Because remember, he wasn't born on planet Vegeta. And Moisley and Granola are still kind of getting used to it, but it's fine. But anyway, it's very different. So King Kai does train them, actually. And since they have months ahead of time, and they're not really pressured or rushed or anything, King Kai does teach them like the Kaioken and the Spirit Bomb. Yes, they're pure-hearted enough to learn the Spirit Bomb. And since it's proven that if you have a training partner, you can get stronger a lot quicker, this ups their power levels quite a lot, actually. And like this also improves their God Ki. Now, all of this is actually very crazy, because this here is just nuts. So instead of like a Kaioken times 4 or 5 that Goku was able to do in the regular timeline, off rip they can actually go to Kaioken times 20, even pushing it to 25. And also, just because I want to give you guys a quick shout out, Granola actually ended up unlocking his own super form, Super Cerealian. Let me show you guys that real quick. Alright guys, I'm just showing this off for the picture here. Like I said, not mine. This is Salad Saiyan. Go subscribe to him. I'm not trying to steal his stuff. I'm just trying to show you exactly what the look is supposed to be like. I hope I don't get copyrighted for this crap. This is just to show the look. Anyway, you guys can obviously see like Granola being a Super Cerealian. Yes, his hair is orange, and he has 2 red eyes. But the thing is, Goku is also half Cerealian. So he also has the evolved left and right eye, and he's able to snipe people and see their vital points. So Granola is not the only one being special. But he is the first to evolve his super form into something different. Ladies and gentlemen, I introduce you to Super Cerealian 2. Obviously you can't see it, but just imagine there is red lightning going around him. Almost that looks like flowing, well, not red lightning, just flowing, what it looks to be flowing lava around Granola. That is his Super Cerealian 2 form. Heh, things are crazy. But anyway, not right now. Well, that actually did happen. But still, we got through the King Kai stuff. Let's get back to the story. Alright, because we're still in the early stages of Dragon Ball as of right now. Now stuff here is going to be actually extremely now stuff here is going to be different. Okay, now 1, 2. Okay, now I'm going to think a little bit more. I got it. So while they're training with King Kai goes great, and it's pretty much technically over with because they've learned everything, because the months that have actually gone by, learning Kaioken and whatnot, they actually do end up going back to Earth and training a little bit more. Upon this, oh yeah, also the Red Ribbon Army get decimated by the whole Sun family. There's absolutely no way that they don't decimate the Red Ribbon Army. But for the sake of an android saga, we got to keep Dr. Gero alive, but just barely. He just barely made it out by the skin of his teeth. He even had to apply robotics to himself as right then and there to keep himself from dying, to keep himself, like, it was still keeping him barely alive. So that's how that happened. But yeah, that still ends up happening. Mercenary Tao easily gets clocked out. Like, there's nothing left for him. But things move on. Okay, so now we're supposed to get into the, I'm going to think of something now. Oh, the Demon King Piccolo arc. That's supposed to happen. Now, what's supposed to happen is actually very crazy, because that's when they meet Tien, and that's when they start fighting. But Goku ends up easily defeating Tien, and, you know, the Chaozu arc is Chaozu gets taken care of, so does Krillin, and finally, it's Goku Kakarot versus Bardock in the final round yet again. They don't use their god forms, and you know what, screw it, they decide to take it up a notch. They use their legendary forms. Because why the heck not? Why would they not use it at this point in time? And because they've been training for so long, they actually got a much more early development. Legendary Super Saiyan 2. And I know this sounds crazy, but they would have easily figured this out. So, okay, hold on, let me show that real quick. Okay, here you guys go. Okay, I obviously know this is regular Super Saiyan, but just imagine the green tint, okay? The legendary Super Saiyan 2 on their side. So they decided to show this off, and it's pretty cut and clear that they're still not giving it their all. But they don't want to show off their god forms because they could end up destroying the planet that way. But they do take it up a notch. And what do I mean by that? Hold on, I can't find it. There we go. Legendary Super Saiyan 3. It's no doubt that they would have found out about this after the training on King Kai's planet. Because they knew that they could push their boundaries and go this far. They just never tried. They just never did it yet. So Legendary Super Saiyan 3 is pretty much their peak and pinnacle of what they have. But they still got their god forms to show off, and the rest of the kids look on in awe, because they know they could possibly do this if they tried, like if they tried hard enough. Because you know how in the canon story Goku pretty much pushed himself to go Super Saiyan 3, even though he had figured it out. That would be the rest of the Saiyan children. If they pushed themselves, they could go Legendary Super Saiyan 3. But, hey, Gine, Fasha, and the others, they're kind of just stuck. They're on regular Super Saiyan on the cusp of Super Saiyan 2. Because I feel like with their very powerful training partners, you know, being their kids and husband, they would pretty much get this done and get this in the bag pretty quickly. Even Moisley has Super Cerulean, just like Granola and their other red eye. Goku is actually the strongest of the kids, being a hybrid, because, you know, hybrids have much higher potential than the full-blooded virgins. And also being a mixture of very powerful races, yeah, Goku would be really up there in terms of potential. And he actually almost beats, and you know what? He actually almost beats Bardock this time around. Almost, but just not yet. He's almost on the cusp of it, and he got really close, but sadly, he just couldn't pull off the victory. He was really getting in tangent with his Cerulean species, and shooting vital points of Bardock and actually hitting him in vital areas. That was actually bringing him down, but it wasn't enough to take him down just yet. But he was there. It was close, but Bardock still takes the victory. And you know what? They still go out for a victory meal. Oh yeah, with Goku also with Kakarot and also having the Dragon Ball in this one. Well, in this one he has like 2 of them. Krillin still offers to go back and get it, which Goku thanks him for, which everyone starts digging in. And since Krillin is still his best friend in this one, Goku still decides to wait for him, but eats a little bit. Until pretty much they hear an explosion going on, and finally, they walk in and they still see Krillin dead like in the original. So it's a bad thing. Immediately, Goku's like power pole is left behind, but the Dragon Balls were taken. Goku, being enraged at this point, unleashes his full power of, let me tell you, Super Cerulean mixed with Super Saiyan 3. And Goku didn't even know he could even mix these forms like this. What the heck do orange and green make? I don't even know. Okay, but just imagine this. Goku's aura hair is still all around green, but the hair is still all around green, but the aura around him isn't green. It's orange, with like a mixture of orange lightning that looks like. Okay, Goku's hair is like green, like the legendary Super Saiyan 3, but his aura looks like flowing lava because it's orange and orange lightning going around him. Goku is extremely pissed off here. He's completely almost uncontrolled, but he still hasn't. He asks Bulma for the Dragon Radar, and he immediately takes off after the person that killed Krillin using the Dragon Radar. Since he can already fly, he pretty much blitzes at Tambourine, catching up with him in mere moments. Literally, instantly, he's in front of Tambourine, and he doesn't even say anything. He outright kills him right then and there. And Goku pretty much flies around killing any one of other King Piccolo's children until he's finally confronted, until Kami has to come down to tell Goku what's going on. He tells him about King Piccolo and explains everything, and that's all Goku needed to hear. He bursts straight into he flies up to King Piccolo's ship and bursts through, like awaiting and ready to strike him down. And Goku's ready to kill him off rip. King Piccolo has no defense against Goku right now. Kami teleporting right in senses that Goku's about to kill him and he has no time. He immediately uses the evil containment wave, sealing King Piccolo once again. And Goku, being even more enraged, demands to know why Kami did that. King Piccolo should have died for what he did. But Kami tells him to wait just more, tries to explain as fast as he can. He's here to help Goku and he promises he really is. But he can't let Goku just kill King Piccolo. That would deactivate the Dragon Balls. What? And then finally, the rest of the Sun family arrives hearing Kami's explanation. Well, even the other Z fighters. As Kami finally explains the history of him and King Piccolo and the Dragon Balls. And Goku just says, fine, well, if that's going to happen, can he at least wish for Krillin to be brought back to life? And Kami's like taken aback, like sure he can wish for that. And finally Goku does calm down. A mixture of using legendary Super Saiyan 3 and Super Cerulean like really took him out. Especially because he's a mixture of a hybrid. So that would really tuck the kid out for a lot. And Kami's just says okay, and they bring back Krillin. But then finally, it's Granola who comes up with the idea next. Why doesn't Kami just wish for him and King Piccolo to return into one being again, with Piccolo being with Kami being the dominant half? That way King Piccolo is sealed back in him forever, and there is no risk of him coming back out. Just get more in tune with himself. Kami was about to retort at that, but he actually agrees with that. Now keep in mind that he's gonna have to wait a full year for Shenron to be activated again, but yeah, that can work. Now, okay, obviously Goku would be gone again for the next 3 years. Well, but not really, because there's no reason to go up to train with Kami anymore except for the Room of Spirit and Time. But they don't necessarily want to do that just yet. They want to save those 2 years that they have. But Bardock still doesn't want to just waste the 2 years. He tells Kami, is there any way to shave off the time limit on the time chamber? And Kami says, in theory, yes there is, but he would have to be stronger. And then Bardock would tell Kami to pretty much do something that King Piccolo would be doing. Wish for Kami and Piccolo to return back to one being again, but he also encourages Kami to start fighting again. Wish for his youth. Get back into training. The Earth is going to need a stronger guardian. And Goku, pretty much Kami asks, what are they going to be doing? And Goku just says, is there any more that he says that he's going off planet because he wants to, because there's also some other techniques that he wants to learn. And they're actually shocked to hear of this. Well, the other Z fighters, not, the Sun family, because they know where they want to go. And Kami Dust asks, like, where would they go? And Goku knows of this place thanks to King Kai. It's called Planet Yardrat. And the place is said to have... Oh, wait, hold on a sec, guys. I gotta check something. Sorry about that, guys. Just had to change it back to the thing here. But the Sun family says they're taking a trip to a planet called Yardrat because it said that they have unique abilities there and they have the ability to teleport around. And so thinking that, and pretty much they're a peaceful race and they're open to teaching people this. So the Sun family decided that they're going to go that they're going to actually go there. So yes, the 3 years that they would spend away would actually be out in space. So the Sun family pretty much pack their things up, and well, things are going to be different out there. They wave goodbye to the Sun family. They go back to Grandpa Gohan, thanking him for everything they did, but they will be back. But you know what? They actually do just decide to go off into space onto planet Yardrat. And since they have a very fast Frieza spaceship, they actually get there relatively quickly. So yes, we're doing the Yardrat arc pretty early on. So they make it to planet Yardrat. They meet They meet they meet the Yardratians. They meet the Grand Elder of the Yardrat, and actually they get to teaching them very quickly. They learn a lot of things. Force Spirit Vision. They learn how to control their energy properly, and they learn instant transmission. Even learning secret techniques like growing, actually growing and shrinking, and even learning how to heal people and how to duplicate without actively splitting their power, and learning how to pull energy from people and add it to themselves so they don't get tired. So they learned a lot of things within the 3 years. But that's not all. Since, like I said, they're prodigies and they learn relatively quickly, they learned all of this stuff within a year and a half. So the next few... So, okay, Bardock, Gine, Fasha, and Weasley decide that they're gonna go back to Earth now. Well, they can easily just teleport back there. So they decide they're going to take the mothership that they have back to Earth, while their kids decide that they're going to go on their own adventure. Sorry about that. Excuse me. So yes, their kids decide that they're going to basically go on to their own adventures out within space. And why do they want to do this? Because they want to learn more and more things, and they can't learn it out here. And okay, since they're obviously alive, they can't go into the okay, wait. Actually, a few of them, like Raditz and Turles, they're actually going to go back to King Kai's place because they heard of an all-out otherworldly tournament. So they're going to go back and do that. While Granola is actually going to go back to Earth and actually just chill with the rest of them. Now, okay, Joka and Ruta are actually going to go back to Earth as well, just to do a little bit more training. They're going to actually take Kami up on that offer with their training, because like I said, they've learned everything on Yardrat. There's nothing for them to learn here anymore. Now, Goku's thinking about what he should do, because 2, 4, 5 of Goku's decided he's actually going to go off into space at this time around, while his eldest brothers are going to go off fighting in Otherworld, and his other 3 siblings are going to stick on Earth for a while to continue training. He's actually going to go off into space because there's a few more things that he feels like that he can learn out here. But Bardock tells him to remember, come back in a year and a half, and Goku says that he will. So while Goku gets a Saiyan space pod and shoots off into space, while still having shoots off into space at this point, and everybody else goes their own separate ways for another year and a half. Now, this is when their growth spurts would actually kick in, and everybody's pretty much an adult here at this point in time. Now, okay, while Goku's gone, he's been busy. So, since this is focused on pretty much Goku and his main story, we're going to focus on him for right now, because everybody else has just been busy training. While Goku was actually out, he actually visited a lot of other planets. And these planets included, okay, hold on, I'm trying to think. You know what, screw it. I'm going to say he did visit a planet. He also visited a planet Namek, and met Grand Elder Guru and got his potential unlocked. So that boosted his power dramatically. But not only that, Goku had actually met someone else out. Well, actually, two people out. Someone else actually out there. While he was a grown up and doing his martial arts. While he was out there, he managed to run into another spaceship filled with another alien, and this alien says that they've been on their own for a while now, and not really knowing what to do, just wandering after their father had pretty much their caretaker had pretty much died, leaving them alone. So Goku had offered for them to travel with him, and this alien, not knowing, just says why not. And you guys might be wondering who this alien actually is. Well, I'm going to show you right now, just because Goku is Bardock reincarnated. He is him. Yep, Kara Zor-El. Why? Because why the not? I'm just going to go crazy with this story because I can, and I find it funny. Now, anyway, with all of this crap being said, Goku asks for her name, and she says her name is Kara, or Kara Zor-El. And she's pretty much the last survivor of the planet Krypton. Krypton? As pretty much Kara explains the Kryptonian race, what happened. It was pretty much consumed by a black hole, and she was the only one off planet. And yes, there is no Superman, no, Kal-El or anything. It's just Kara. Only her, and that's it. Her caretaker, which was, not Brainiac in this timeline, but it was like a whole nother, species, like a whole nother alien race, was taking care of her. She was like a young kid at the time when this happened, so her and her caretaker has just been taking care of her this whole time, until recently he had actually died, like about a year and a half ago. And so Kara had just been wandering like the universe and the galaxy all over, just trying to find a place to call home, just doing whatever actually. And that's until she met Goku, or well, Kakarot in this state. And Kakarot would explain who he is. They're kind of in the same situation, a part of the Saiyans, and Kara actually have heard of the Saiyans and heard that they all went extinct because of a meteor long ago. And Kakarot would go on to explain, no, it was the tyrannical ruler Frieza. He did it. Frieza? Yes. Like, wow. Kara's species died because of a black hole, and Frieza off rip just killed the Saiyans. So Kara can kind of sympathize with Goku here, and Goku says his whole family survived, thankfully, and because of that, they actually live on planet Earth. Earth? Yep. But that's not all. They've been getting rapidly stronger in order to fight Frieza and for the foreseeable future. And they think they actually might be ready, but not exactly yet. Because it's not just Frieza that they're going to be taking on. It'll be his father, King Cold. But since they don't exactly... And it's also rumored that Frieza actually has a brother. Yes, I'm bringing the baddest mofo up in here. And also my third favorite character of Dragon Ball as a series. And I really think he should be canon. So it won't be Frieza's father. It'll just be Frieza himself and his rumored actual brother. So all of that together, combined with what they got going on, they're training excessively to actually fight the Empire. And Kara actually respects that. But she actively wants to come with Goku during this whole space trip. Well, Kakarot, yeah. I'm going to say Goku. If you guys know who I mean, it's with Kakarot. So I don't feel like saying Kakarot. It just doesn't feel right saying it. So Kakarot, having no real reason to say no, agrees to let Kara come with him. And they go on this whole space travel thing with very peacefully, in fact, actually. Because Goku has pretty much a spaceship and and a gravity, and because Bulma redesigned his spaceship, they pretty much have their own pocket spaceships in case, built with gravity chambers built right in. So Goku actually does a bit of training, and Kara actually joins him in on that. And being a Kryptonian, she's actually a very powerful asset to be training with Goku. So, woof. Now, this here is actually very, very, very nerve-wracking here. Now, all of this is just straight up insane. Until somehow, like out within the galaxy that they're exploring very far away, they run into a woman what seems what seems to be, wait, no, screw it. They run into a woman that seems to be just floating aimlessly in space for some reason. They don't know how this happened, but this woman just seems to be floating in space aimlessly and seems to be unconscious. Now, Kara thinks that they should go. Goku thinks that they should help her, while Kara thinks they should leave her. But Goku, being the pure-hearted guy that he is, well, yeah, pure-hearted guy that he is, because he was raised by a loving family, decides that they can't just leave her. So instead, he begs Kara to go out there to help to grab her, and so she does, actively grabbing the woman and pulling her inside. And this woman is completely unconscious. But thankfully, because Goku knows how to heal people because of the Yardratians, he ends up actually healing the woman here. And the woman slowly opens her eyes, and she actively looks up, seeing Goku and Kara. When she sits up straight, she asks, who are these people? And Goku, well, introduces himself as Kakarot, and he introduces Kara. And like, what do you want with me? And Goku explains that they just saw her out in space, and just decided to pick her up because she looked injured. And Goku asks what happened. And this woman here, hold on, let me show you real quick. Alright guys, just had to do that real quick. Anyway, then they ask the woman for her name, and the woman introduces her, introduces herself. She says that her name is Kansei, Mother of the Angels. Mother of the Angels? Yes. Quite literally too. Yeah, and if you guys don't recognize Kansei, she is from the Dragon Ball Kakume verse. Like I said, Dragon Ball Prime, we're introducing all the continuities. We're bringing in Kakume here as well. Goku says he like no way. But then of course Kansei tells them like how little you know of your entire cosmos. Fear not, mortal Saiyan. I shall teach you. And Kansei goes about to explain all of the universes, that there are 12, but actually there used to be 18 of them. Wait, hold on. Wasn't there like 19 or something? Give me one sec, because I haven't read Dragon Ball Kakume in a bit, so give me one sec to look at it. I'll take a second. Alright, my bad. Okay, anyway. So with that being said, there are 19 universes. Starting with Universe 0 all the way to Universe 19, which she was the attendant of the God of Destruction for. Like, Goku and Kara can't believe it. Holy crap. Like, yes. And Kansei actually senses God presence within Goku. And she even notices that he's a hybrid between a Saiyan and a Cerealian. Not a bad combination, if you ask her. But Goku would ask, how does she know? And Kansei would explain that she's an angel. Of course she would know all the small details and smallest things. But she would explain her backstory. And Goku would ask, how did she remain hidden after all this time? Like, since she's up and running, wouldn't they be able to sense her now? And Kansei says, while in theory they would, but she's kept her presence hidden for so long, and she's been wandering she's been floating aimlessly in like the null spaces of the erased multiverse for like trillions of years. And if they haven't noticed her still alive now, she doubts that they have this time. But she's completely suppressed her presence into nothing. So now, of course, they haven't even noticed her. She guesses she just wandered in this. She floated into Universe 7 by absolute mistake here, while she was completely in a coma and unconscious. Huh. Well, I guess that happened. So while that's happened, Kansei wants to express her gratitude by training Goku, like especially in the ways of like an angel and Ultra Instinct, so that way she can master his God Ki and everything else to get revenge on this Frieza. So Goku immediately accepts this offer because training, and why the heck would he not accept this? And Kara says she wants to train as well. Huh, a super Kryptonian. You don't see that every day. Well, Kryptonians did live under a red star, but she can see what makes Kara so special. Well, okay then. So for the next the next year, Kansei ends up training Goku and Kara, and they were headed all their way back to Earth at this point, since Kansei needs pretty much a place to reside in and a place to hide. Well, because she's a place to reside in. And also, she's pretty much, since she told them that she's hiding from the Grand Priest and all that, because in her eyes, she made them sound evil, not knowing her true intentions or whatnot, because the Omni King needs to be erased because he is like a child that holds too much power and can just erase anybody on a whim. So instead, they decide to bring Kansei back to Earth, planet Earth. And finally, when they arrive, the Sun family is introduced to Kara and Kansei, with finally the Dragon team reuniting after all this time, and they've gotten plenty strong. But Goku is completely far beyond like dimensions levels of strong, because Kansei introduces Goku to like levels of training that not even Whis nor the Grand Priest would dare teach a mortal, and it's not even known that a mortal should get this strong. So Goku is about, but thankfully Kansei showed Goku how to suppress his power. So thankfully the Grand Priest nor the other angels will be on him. Yet. Yeah, not yet. But eventually they will be. But we'll get to that much later on in the story when it becomes relevant. As of right now, Goku has pretty much half of a year in order to get himself started. So finally, when he makes it back, he goes to reintroduce himself to everyone, but not right now. But well, not right. Yeah. Anyway, what am I talking about? So Goku goes and meets back up with everyone yet again, because he has like a half of a year, 6 months before the next World Tournament comes around, and he says he's going to beat his father when he does. And Bardock is pretty much waiting to see that happen. But thankfully, he won't have to wait very long. He won't have to wait very long. Because finally, once Goku meets Kami again, Kami looks very different. Hold on a second. When he finally flies back up to Kami's lookout, he sees something he's never seen before. Well, it looks like Kami, but younger. As Goku walks up and asks, "Kami?" And Kami would nod his head. "Welcome back, Goku." What happened to you? And Kami would go on to explain everything. Well, after Granola and Bardock's suggestion, he decided to actually take them up on it. To finally, first things first, he wished for eternal youth, and even did a little bit. He even went into the time chamber to get his 2 years of training done a little bit. And not only that, once the second year was up, he had finally wished for King Piccolo and him to be rejoined back into one body, to be rejoined again, finally as one soul, with Kami being the dominant personality. Well, with Kami just being dominant in general. And so Shenron was able to finally do this because Kami was actually stronger than Piccolo. And with it finally being done, the two are rejoined once again. But because Kami needed a stronger Shenron, and because his power would also grow, last but not least, he had upgraded Shenron. So now Shenron can grant 3 wishes, but it's still tied to his power. But thankfully, Kami has kept up his training since then, and he's actually growing very fast and very well. Thanks to all of this. Huh? Nice, very nice. And Kami does nod his head. And finally, because of Bardock's suggestion, he removed the limit upon the hyperbolic time chamber. So because of that, there's no limit to how long they can go in there. But Kami says don't stay in there for too long, because he's eternally youthful. He will not die of old age. They still can die of old age if they mess up. But Goku says they won't really have to, don't worry, they won't overuse it. But with Kansei there, Kansei can just make them younger again, because she's an angel that doesn't abide by the rules, so she doesn't really care. So finally, Goku introduces Kansei and Kara to the rest of the gang. And for the next 6 months, someone weirdly shows up at Grandpa Gohan. Well, someone weirdly shows up at Grandpa Gohan's place, and they're looking for Goku. What the heck? And this person here, you might actually be surprised who it is, but I'm not. And this person is Android 21, also known as Vomi. That's her name. Her name is actually Vomi. But this is actually quite a thing. Vomi showing up at Grandpa Gohan's place, Goku asking, what is she doing here? And Vomi would actually come on to warn Goku about, the upcoming androids about Dr. Gero. And I know you guys might be saying, wait, isn't this starting the android saga early? No, but because this is just a warning. The Red Ribbon Army that they decimated, there's actually one person left named Dr. Gero. And he went underground to actually start building some androids to kill to actually kill Goku. Well, kill the entire Sun family because of what they did. And they would ask where this Dr. Gero is, and Vomi would go on to say she doesn't know. But she learned of his plan afterward, and she's been scouring the planet looking for Goku, and for the Sun family themselves. And finally, she ended up finding them. And Bardock comes up and says, "How do they know this isn't a trap? Like, would she actively come up here and tell them if this really was a trap or not? Why wouldn't they just start attacking right away?" Dr. Gero is biding his time and waiting for everyone to let their guard down. Great. Now they don't only have one, but they have two enemies to look out for. Dr. Gero and his androids, but also Frieza. This is just great. But because of this, Vomi offers up her services to help them. And thanks to Bulma, she actually gets offered a job at Capsule Corp. Because she seems like a brilliant mind, and since Android 21 is, or Vomi in this case, is actually canon in the story, this actually helps out a lot. But Vomi actually does bring Dr. Gero's plans on how he plans to turn people into androids. Now this actually is quite the development, because Bulma says she actually could make some of her own androids, but Vomi recommends not doing that because it always ends bad. But instead, she offers herself up to be turned into an android. What? Yep, like the next android. Oh, great. But Bulma, seeing no reason not to, decides to go through with this. And just to see if this crap actually does work. So, being imbued with infinite energy, the surgery actually does go through, and she's an android. Now we actually have Android 21 in this sense. This is a lot of freaking people that I'm bringing into. Dragon Ball Prime, who cares? Now, with this actually being a said done thing, they still, okay, Goku and the rest of the Sun family do continue their training. I mean, Goku definitely with Kansei, teaching his family like the art of God Ki, how to utilize it more, and much better teacher than Whis, not allowing the energy to leak out or anything. So thankfully, they actually learned their own version of Super Saiyan Blue, and I have to bring Salad Saiyan into this once again since they're legendary. They actually don't get their it's not regular Super Saiyan Blue. Instead, their Super Saiyan Blues end up being a pale bluish green color with dark blue eyes. Super Saiyan God mixed with their legendary Super Saiyan forms, aka Raging God. Yeah, Raging Super Saiyan God, aka Raging God. So this is pretty much everyone here. Well, except Gine, except Gine and Fasha, they get regular Super Saiyan Blue because they already have God forms at this point in time. So hey, it's a pretty cool benefit here. So everyone having their own God forms and just achieving it. So they have like what 5, 4, 3-ish months left. So because of this, they end up getting their own versions of like Raging Super Saiyan Blue Evolution. And well, I don't think I need to go on a tangent on how crazy that could be. Instead, they just get Raging God 2 and Raging God 3. Raging Super Saiyan God. So yes, they actually get a Super Saiyan Blue 2 and 3. While Gine and Fasha just get Blue Evolution. Blue Evolution 2 and Blue Evolution 3. Nice. So they already have their own God forms, meaning they're powerful as hell already. So, woof. Already stronger in the entire multiverse. And they're not even done evolving yet. But hey, we still got a long time to go. So finally, the 23rd, I think, 23rd martial arts tournament. Yeah, the 23rd martial arts tournament finally rolls around, and now we got a lot more. It's time for one hell of a tournament to happen here. Keep in mind, guys, we're still going through the Dragon Ball arc. We haven't even gotten into the Z time skip or the Z Kai episodes. And some of you guys might be wondering, okay, wait, wouldn't Lord Beerus or Whis notice them at this point because they're using God Ki? Well, they would if they were to actually use it. But Kansei, since she's explained her circumstance, she tells them not to use any of their God Ki under any circumstances, like, at all. Because at this point, they're strong enough to where their legendary forms at this point is just more than enough to contend with anything. And because of Vomi's warning, the Dr. Gero's surveillance, yeah, they still do get like monitorization, but none of their super or legendary forms have been shown. So thankfully, they don't get any of surveillance like that. but he still does get their DNA, so that's kind of a bad thing in the future. Or, well, it would be. You'll just have to wait and see. So finally, the 23rd Martial Arts World Tournament rolls around, and Goku and the whole Sun family attends. Now, with everybody being, adequate to their height and all that. So the entire Sun family, I mean, obviously, okay, Raditz, Goku, Bardock, Gine's there. I mean, obviously, Gohan and Goten and the rest are not there yet. Oh, wait, hold on a second. We have adult Ruta over here. I mean, and obviously adult Joka, because I've been showing her for like the longest time now. Ruta and Joka, and that's not it. We also have adult Turles. So, yes. And, okay, I think I showed everybody. Oh, yeah, finally adult Goku or adult Kakarot, because, they never changed his name in this one. And, obviously adult Granola in this situation as well, with him being powerful as he is. So, again, not my image. Don't freaking copyright me. I hope I don't. Hold on. Wait, now this isn't the end of Z, so I can't really show this part yet. Alright, so this tournament rolls around, and everyone gives it their hardest here. So the situation still goes on the same. The last remaining people to fight are Goku and Bardock. Or Kakarot and Bardock in this situation. Everybody else did fight extremely hard here, but they ain't done yet. Alright, so let's see here. Bardock and Kakarot in the final round. They both go all out using their forms. And the thing is, even Kansei, she puts a barrier around everybody to make sure they don't get blown away by the spectacle, and so Dr. Gero's robot can't even see. So they're both using Raging God 3, but Goku using his Super Cerealian forms on top of that. So, Super Cerealian God here. Super Saiyan Cerealian God. Yeah, it works. So with Goku having that advantage and finally getting his advantage in vital points and whatever, he's able to actually best Bardock and finally defeat him. Because Bardock has long been surpassed by Goku a while ago, but Goku was just being nice and just using their God forms. But hey, this is great. Goku is finally the strongest man on the planet, and it all finally works. So, phew, Goku had finally won, and so he still does fight Chi-Chi like he would in the original. Chi-Chi reveals herself and said that Goku had, but I'm gonna say in this one Goku had never actually made, Goku never actually made the you know what? Nah, Goku still promised to marry Chi-Chi, and Goku says he doesn't really remember that, and then he finally remembers Chi-Chi, like, oh, he did promise that. And since Goku doesn't want to break his promise here, he's about to agree, but until another steps up, which is Bulma. Like, now, hold on a second. Who do you think you are trying to take my Goku from me? Like, wait, my Goku? Huh? Well, my Kakarot from me. Huh? Like, everyone looks on stun, because she confesses that she's had feelings for Kakarot for a long time now. Like, and this is a shocker here. Say what? And this is when another steps up, and this is Kara, saying that she also has feelings for Kakarot, and they've been traveling for like almost a year and a half now. So, well, 2 years now. So she can't just he can't just up and leave her like that. Until Kansei even steps up, even though she's trillions of years older than Goku. Who the fuck cares? People have done worse shit and worse what ifs. Kansei says she's also grown quite an infatuation for Kakarot here, and she wants to stick by his side throughout everything. And finally, Vomi steps up and says, like, she wanted to warn Goku because she's grown to care about this family as well, and she also wants to be a part of the Sun family. What? Huh? This means Goku has, like, Bulma, Chi-Chi, Kansei, Kansei, Kara, and Vomi, Android 21. That's 5 women. Goku doesn't know what to do now. Well, Kakarot doesn't know what to do now because he's never been put in this situation. I mean, he looks at his dad like, "Don't look at me. This is your choice, kiddo." And then Master Roshi only wondered what he could do with freaking 5 women. Then he speaks up, "Kakarot, the answer is so simple, my boy. Huh? Just marry all of them. What? All of them? All 5? Why not? Your father already has 3. What's 2 more? And then Goku Kakarot comes to the realization. Oh yeah, he literally has 3 moms. So what the heck is he doing? Just having two extra for his women? Thanks, Master Roshi. Like, no problem, my boy. It's what I'm here for. Like, we should kill him. Agreed. Oh boy. But then they all just start running at Master Roshi trying to beat him up. But hey, Goku is the winner of the tournament, and there is no Piccolo here because we have Kami instead. Kami, who's actually stepping up to be a fighter in this one. And Kami offered Goku to be the guardian of Earth, but nah, he didn't want to do any of that. So everyone gets their own happy endings. Kind of. Well, we're gonna have to get into the time skip more because all of Goku's siblings, the brothers actually, like Raditz, Turles, and even who else? Okay, Raditz, Turles, and oh yeah, also Granola. They're jealous because Goku gets 5 girls. 5! Like Goku says, it's not his fault he's just that awesome. Uh-oh. Like, yeah, it's not his fault he's just that great. Like, and then he smiles smugly, and he's about to fly off with his wives. Like, but until they hear a loud sonic boom. What the? They see. Okay, hold on. Let me think. 1, 2, 3 Saiyan space pods actually enter the Earth's atmosphere. Well, they hear it, but the Dragon team can actually feel it. What the? Until they see where it's about to land, and pretty much Goku and his family looks at each other and they're getting ready to teleport. But the Dragon team wants to come with, so they actually come to see and watch. And finally, 3 Saiyan space pods land in the middle of a wasteland. Thankfully, it's where Raditz landed initially. Wait, you know what? Nah, because he landed near a farmer. They landed in a wasteland, actually. And finally, when they come out of the pods, Bardock, Raditz, and Turles actually can't believe what they're seeing. Because remember, Granola never... Well, Ruta and Joka actually saw a little bit of them, but Granola and Goku never seen them at all. Because they had to stay in the house. Well, Goku was too young of a baby, and Granola was forced to stay inside all the time. And who is it to be revealed? Well, it's simple. And out with the sand pods would be... Hold on. Nappa, Vegeta, and actually a young Tarble. And actually Tarble. Yes, Tarble would actually be with them in this sense. And you guys might be wondering, wait, wasn't Tarble sent off as a baby because of his embarrassing power level? Well, on the respective thing is, since Bardock was a high-commanding like general, who is second command only to Vegeta, King Vegeta. When the younger Tarble was born, young Bardock had actually suggested that Tarble just be sent on missions with Prince Vegeta, and also just offered just to train the boy. Just train the boy up and send him on missions with his brother, and then hopefully he'll grow up to be stronger. And because of this, King Vegeta kept Tarble around, and he wasn't sent off to a planet. So Vegeta was actually Tarble was actually raised with Vegeta by Nappa, and Nappa is actually younger in this one, so he still actually has his hair. Nice. And because of this, they actually step out. Because they're still... Oh, you want to know the funniest thing is? Vegeta and Tarble actually do look alike now, because matching brothers. Because you guys know, we get regular Vegeta, because remember, they still got their tails in this one. They were never cut off. Like, none of the Sun family's tails were ever cut off, because they mastered Great Ape form, and they have the Ikari form. So there's no reason to freaking get rid of them. But yes, they did show up relatively early in this sense. Like, very early. But this is Vegeta, and look at Tarble. You can kind of see the difference between the two. Okay, hold on. Maybe not. Whatever. I don't really care for it. So Tarble, okay, hold on. Okay, Tarble has like an extra bang poking out of his hair, while Vegeta does not. And they all have their tails. You might be wondering what happened to the 2 other Saiyans. They probably just died somewhere. Who doesn't? Who knows? Who really cares at this point? But hey, it's just Tarble, Nappa, and Vegeta that show up on the planet. And they were surprised. They didn't know this many Saiyans had actually survived. And Vegeta actually does remember Bardock from way back then. So does Nappa, like the high-ranking commanding general. Dang, we're very surprised to see him. So Bardock would ask what are they doing here, and Vegeta would say they they pretty much had tracked the spaceship, they're saying space pods all the way back here, because they realized there was one Frieza spaceship under their radar that they haven't seen before. So they finally tracked it, and they saw that it was Bardock's ship from long ago, because they saw them on their expedition toward Yardrat. It's what put them back on their radar again. So what they did was pretty simple. Seeing that there were more Saiyans out here, a lot of them, they wanted to recruit them to defeat Frieza. And don't worry, their scouters are off. They are off and disabled, are offline. And so what they did was they made it look like they went onto a mission, and they pretty much, all three of them died there. So Frieza has no idea that they're still alive. They pretty much just deserted the Frieza force and just left all that behind. Crazy. To basically come onto this planet. Huh. Neat. And when they check their scouters, they see that they're, exceptionally strong. They're suppressing themselves, quite a lot. Heavily. But even still, their power levels are, above 20,000. Which is all higher than Vegeta, who's, 18,000. And Nappa, who's, I think 7,000. Yeah. And Turbo, who's actually right behind Vegeta because he's 18,000. And because Turbo trained so hard and exploited the Zenkais, he's at 16,000. So it's actually really close. Vegeta's 18,000. So, hey, really close behind Vegeta. So with that being said, Vegeta had asked them what's been going on this whole time. And they pretty much just explained their circumstance. They've been training to defeat Frieza, all that and whatnot. And they've achieved new forms. And the Super Saiyan is actually real. It is. And then they show off their Super Saiyan forms and then their legendary forms. So, and that's caught their attention immediately. So instead of doing evil for right now, they're going to be singing a different tune. Right now, they're all going to be staying on this planet to get stronger enough to defeat Frieza. So this is actually going to change. Now Goku would go on to marry his wives and everything, and everybody else would find their own relationships and whatnot. And yes, I mean that quite literally. So this was the end of the Dragon Ball arc. Now next we're going to get into Dragon Ball Z and Z Kai. That would be the end of the Buu arc. Should I include Daima within it? Yeah, because Daima should be included within Z Kai, because there's a few years until Lord Beerus shows up. So, hopefully you guys have enjoyed this part, because as of right now, I'm exhausted. So if you guys enjoyed this part, then you know what to do. Like, subscribe, comment down below. Peace, guys!